Valerie Malyvanh Jansen's journey to Maryville College began decades ago on the other side of the world, when she joined her family on a dangerous river crossing out of their native Laos and into an uncertain future. Valerie was only 2.5 years old.
What memory sticks in my mind the best is being in the middle of the night in the jungle, and I think we were waiting to cross in a canoe to cross the Mekong River into Thailand. I just remember that vividly because I remember my mom trying to keep my sister, little sister, quiet, and was trying to give her some cookies or something so that she wouldn't be crying in the middle of the night.
Valerie spent her early years in refugee camps, first in Thailand, then the Philippines, before arriving in the U.S. to join family members who had already immigrated. From the beginning, Valerie rose to meet the challenges offered by her new homeland.
When I came to the U.S., I was 6. Didn't speak a word of English, and now I speak English with a Southern accent, or every now and then my Southern accent will come through. And also my parents, while my dad was a civil engineer and graduated from college and had a professional degree, his degrees didn't really amount to anything in the U.S. And so they worked, blue-collar jobs in factory earning minimum wage. And I think that certainly puts perspective in my life, and certainly the choices that I had or didn't have growing up, but also the work ethic that was instilled in me and the importance of education.
Valerie attended John Overton High School in Nashville, where she excelled in math and science and graduated as valedictorian in a class of just over 200. Valerie decided Maryville College was the perfect place to write the next chapter in her extraordinary life story.
When I was looking for colleges, I think that looking back, I knew I wanted a small liberal arts college once I knew what that meant and what type of education that would provide me. So then I discovered Maryville College. I visited 4 times, stayed on campus 4 times before I really felt like it was home, and I kept on going back, and I think it was the best decision.
The thing that convinced Valerie she'd made the right decision was a meeting with chemistry professor Dr. Terry Bundy in his office on campus.
Very few times did I meet a prospective student in my office with their parents. But her dad stood there and he asked these questions, what can she expect to do when she leaves here? Do you have your textbooks so I can look at them and things like that? And Valerie, I think, had decided this is where she wanted to be.
My dad did ask Dr. Bundy, if she came to Maryville College, would she be able to go to Vanderbilt Medical School? And Dr. Bundy, I remember telling him if she came to Maryville College, she can do whatever she wants, and including being a doctor at Vanderbilt.
From day one, Valerie took Maryville College by storm, especially Dr. Bundy's science classes.
She blossomed at Maryville College. She took every science course we offered, I think. I think the crowning joy was she took physical chemistry from my colleague, Bob Naylor, who prided himself on busting people's chops in physical chemistry. And she got the highest grade I think he ever gave on all the exams and everything.
Valerie's talent and hard work landed her an opportunity to take part in a practicum at Oak Ridge National Laboratory, resulting in her name being attached to a patent.
Not only did I have an opportunity to see research in real life, but also receive college credit for it.
But some of Valerie's biggest contributions to the Maryville College community took place outside the classroom.
We revived the American Chemical Society student group, and every year in the fall, we would set up either going to elementary schools or even setting up at the Foothills Mall.
Valerie called them and said, we've got this group of students from the college and our professor. We want to come out and do demonstrations and chemistry sort of things for elementary school, middle school, and high school kids if they just come out that day. The mall let us do it.
Kids can come up and make their own slime and take it home with them. We also had a glowing pickle, which was very popular. So we would have to go buy us large jars of pickles, whole pickles, and we would pretty much light them up because of the chemicals in the brining solution. So then the currents pass through and you have a glowing pickle. But don't try that at home though.
Valerie organized all of that and said, we got to keep doing this. And then she wrote it up and sent it in to the American Chemical Society, and the student group won the award that year out of 40 chapters in the United States. And we were the smallest school to have that recognition.
After graduation in 2001, Valerie was accepted into a rigorous dual-track program at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center in Memphis, earning both MD and PhD degrees simultaneously. When her advisor moved to Chicago, Valerie followed, finishing her MD at the Pritzker School of Medicine. Afterwards, Valerie returned to Tennessee, where she practiced at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center and conducted important research in the lab.
My research was focused on understanding how cancers outsmart the medicines that we give to patients, and how can we identify new ways to block that cancer from growing.
In the clinic, Valerie cared for the very same patients whose cancer she investigated in the laboratory. Her Maryville College mentor was not surprised that this was the path Valerie chose to take.
Yeah, I think it was her people skills that were really the best. That's when I knew she was in the right place. Because working with breast cancer patients on the ward in Vanderbilt as an MD, then going back to the lab and doing research with those individuals really meant she had to, have that sort of switch from I'm researching now, but there's people that I'm researching on, and then there's people that I'm treating on the ward, and that's really one of her strengths.
For example, it might be a really hard day in clinic, whether that's because we lost a patient or just delivering bad news to a patient. And then that drives me in the lab to really understand why it is that I'm doing what I am. And that motivates me to try even harder in the lab to find that new medicine or to find out why the cancer stopped working.
Valerie received widespread recognition for her work, including a Susan G. Komen postdoctoral fellowship, a Conquer Cancer Foundation Young Investigator Award, and numerous other awards and honors in quick succession. In 2017, a new door opened, and Valerie left active medical practice to help drug maker Eli Lilly and Company create a new breast cancer medicine.
It was a hard decision because throughout my training, I thought that I would always stay at a university setting like Vanderbilt, seeing patients and also doing research at the bench. But an opportunity came up to join a pharmaceutical company where the research and the discovery of new medicines could have a quicker impact on patients. And not only the patient that I'm seeing in clinic, but potentially thousands of patients around the world.
Recently, Valerie moved on to another new challenge, working as senior medical advisor for a small biotech company where she is helping to develop a new way of delivering medication directly to cancer cells. This battle is more than just a scientific challenge for Valerie, who lost her mother-in-law and father to cancer.
Obviously, I'm sad that my mother-in-law and my father aren't here, but I think that it also provides me the motivation so that other families don't have to go through that. And so it makes it even more personal and my motivating factor.
Now Valerie lives in the Nashville area with her husband Tim and daughter Hannah. As she transitioned from the grueling years of graduate school to the rigors of medical practice and laboratory investigations, Valerie adhered to the principles spelled out in her three-part personal motto: passion, purpose, focus. The three principles are represented in a painting created by a cancer survivor which hangs in Valerie's office. In conjunction with her many accomplishments and the example she sets, these three words embody the traits that make Dr. Valerie Malyvanh Jansen our 2020 KT Young Alumni Award winner.
I believe that the quality of the opportunities I had at Maryville and really the relationship with the professors, all the professors, I think it provided me the foundation that I needed, certainly a strong academic background, but also just to be a good human being in the world. The foundation that you receive from Maryville College will certainly prepare you well for the road, any road that you take to achieve all your dreams.